At the beginning of every year, there's this quiet pressure to become better. And it's not just about you. Your home gets pulled into it too. It's supposed to be neater, more organized, a new version of itself. Sounds familiar? You feel tired, overwhelmed, and there's just too much to do, so you end up giving up early. Then I realized something. A new year is still just a normal day. It doesn't give us more time, more energy, or more willpower. You're still busy with work, and when you get home, you're still dealing with the same clutter. That's why I'm here. In this video, I'm sharing 9 simple tips to help you rethink decluttering and make your life feel a little easier one step at a time. Trust me, I've been exactly where you are. First, let's start by understanding what decluttering really is and why cleaning more never brought the lightness you expected. Cleaning your home back then felt like pushing bags to the side on a crowded train. The aisle looked wider, but the air was still heavy and the sense of suffocation never really went away. For a long time, I cleaned a lot, yet the feeling of lightness never arrived. Closets were reorganized, things were moved around, more storage boxes were bought. The house looked a bit neater, but my mind stayed full. Every time I opened a closet, my hand hadn't even touched anything yet, and I already felt tired. Then I noticed something very small. Every item I picked up came with a conversation in my head. It's not broken. I might need it someday. Throwing it away feels wasteful. I wasn't actually cleaning. I was carrying around a pile of decisions I hadn't dared to make. The exhaustion didn't come from the stuff. It came from having to remember to weigh options to postpone decisions over and over again. The house started to feel like a to-do list that never got checked off. So I stopped thinking in circles and set a simpler standard. No weighing whether to keep or toss. No worrying about some distant future. I only looked at how each item was affecting my life right now. If its presence made things heavier, messier, or drained energy every time I touched it, the decision almost made itself. That's when I understood decluttering isn't about making things look neat. It's about choosing yourself. Choosing mental lightness, ease, and clarity. There's no need to keep things to prove responsibility or to live up to invisible expectations. If this approach feels a little freeing, in the next video, I'll dive into some harsh truths about tidying your home things. No one really talks about the decisions and habits that quietly weigh us down. Make sure to watch it, might change the way you see cleaning entirely. Here, the focus shifts to why small, repeatable decisions matter more than any perfect plan you never finish. I used to believe deeply in plans. At the beginning of the year, everything needed to be clear. Declutter the entire house, change habits, live more organized. It sounded reasonable. Yet most of those plans died after just a few days. Not because I was lazy. Every time I looked at the plan, it demanded a version of me who was always free, motivated, and full of energy. In reality, I still came home tired from work, often late, and just wanted to sit still. One very ordinary evening, I tried something different. I didn't clean the house. I simply threw 3 items from the kitchen counter into the trash. Just 3. No more. No while I'm at it cleaning. The next morning, the counter felt a little emptier. I didn't feel more capable, just more comfortable. That night, I did the same one small thing again. And then again the next day. I realized this one small decision that you can repeat on your most exhausted day is always more powerful than a perfect plan that only exists on paper. You don't need a different new year. You need actions that your current version can actually do. If you're waiting for when I have time, I'll clean properly, try the opposite. Don't clean properly. Clean easily. Easy enough that you don't have to force yourself. You don't need a whole room. 1 corner is enough. You don't need an hour. 10 to 15 minutes is enough. You don't need to do it perfectly. You just need to finish. You're not slow. You're choosing a way forward that doesn't lead to quitting. And that's what creates real change. Another key shift appears when you stop designing systems for your best days and start supporting your worst ones instead. For a long time, I believed discipline was my real problem. I assumed something was missing in me, so I compensated by making rules and detailed plans. Clean immediately after getting home, deep clean on weekends, put everything back where it belongs the moment it's used. On paper, the system looked sensible and responsible. It matched the version of myself I thought I should be. Reality rarely cooperated. On evenings when I arrived home late, my mind felt blank and my body heavy. The plan vanished the moment I stepped inside. The bag landed on the nearest chair. The jacket ended up on the bed. Papers slowly formed a pile in the corner. What followed was familiar frustration, not just about the mess, but about myself. Another quiet judgment for failing again. Eventually, a pattern became impossible to ignore. The issue was never effort. It was the assumption behind everything I had built. I was designing my life for an ideal version of myself, always alert, energetic, motivated, and capable of making good decisions at the end of every day. Most days, I was none of those things. I was simply tired. So I stopped trying to change myself and adjusted the environment instead. Hooks went where the bag naturally dropped. A laundry basket sat exactly where clothes came off. Items used every day stayed visible rather than buried deep in cabinets. Nothing was optimized for aesthetics or ambition. Everything was arranged for reality. The intention wasn't to build better habits or become more disciplined. The intention was to remove decision-making when energy was already gone. Things needed to work even on the worst days. From that point on, the house stayed calmer without extra effort. Difficult days still existed, but they no longer dismantled the entire system. Order became quieter, less fragile. Struggling to maintain a home often has little to do with laziness. More often, it comes from expecting too much from someone who is already exhausted. Designing for the hardest days changes everything. Once those days are supported, the rest becomes manageable. At this point, it's time to apply the boss rule and stop negotiating with objects that drain your energy. Unused items rarely cause trouble right away. The problem starts the moment you touch them. As soon as your hand picks one up, your mind jumps in to defend it. It's fine to keep. Maybe I'll need it later. I already paid for it. Throwing it away feels wasteful. I realized I wasn't making decisions at all. I was negotiating. And every single negotiation quietly drained a bit of mental energy. Over time, objects stopped being neutral things. They began to control my emotions, my time, and my attention. I felt tired without knowing why. One day I changed my approach. No explanations, no stories, no thinking about someday. Just one direct check: does this item serve my life today, or does it exist purely out of habit? If it needs defending, the answer is already clear. If it only makes sense when I imagine becoming a different person in the future, it doesn't belong to my present. Once I stopped negotiating, everything became faster and lighter. Decisions no longer dragged on. Not because I became colder, but because I became clearer. When you take the role of the boss, objects return to their proper place, serving you, not controlling you. And the interesting part is that this decisiveness doesn't stay with stuff. It spills into how you use your time, choose your commitments, and say no to what no longer fits. Here's where many people get stuck: guilt toward objects, and why releasing it changes everything. Guilt is the biggest reason my home stayed cluttered. Not because space ran out, but because invisible obligations kept piling up. Money already spent, gifts already received, items labeled still usable. Each object carried a quiet reminder that never really left my mind. I kept many things simply to avoid that uncomfortable feeling. Letting go felt careless. Keeping them felt like the responsible choice. Yet the longer they stayed, the heavier everything became. I saw those items every day, and every glance triggered the same thought loop. Why this still sits here, why it never gets used, why I bought it in the first place. The space didn't feel messy, but it felt loud. At some point, one blunt realization landed. Objects feel nothing. They don't register care, regret, or gratitude. They don't notice whether I keep them or let them go. All that weight lives entirely in my head. I noticed something else too. Keeping unused items didn't make me more mindful or appreciative. It tightened the space and drained my energy. Even small decisions started to feel heavy because my mind kept revisiting the same unresolved choices. The house stopped supporting my daily life and started asking for constant emotional effort. The moment I allowed myself to drop, the guilt relief showed up instead of irresponsibility. The space felt lighter. My head felt clearer. I moved through my home without that quiet pressure in the background. With fewer unused things around, my energy finally went where it mattered. Rest felt deeper. Focus came back more easily. Daily life stopped feeling crowded. Prioritizing mental lightness isn't selfish. I learned that the hard way. It's care, and that choice alone changed how my home and my mind felt every single day. One major reason decluttering keeps failing is starting too big. The thought of cleaning the entire house alone feels exhausting. The brain immediately pictures hours of work and hundreds of decisions, then chooses the easiest option, doing nothing. I used to wait for rare free days to do it properly. Those days almost never arrived. The house stayed messy and frustration grew because I felt out of control in my own space. Everything shifted when I did the opposite. I ignored the whole house. I picked one tiny area, a drawer, a desk corner, a countertop, somewhere that could be finished in one sitting. Within minutes, that spot was completely done. No leftovers, no pile labeled "deal with later." And the feeling came instantly. Mental relief, physical ease, and most importantly, a sense of completion. That feeling is powerful. It doesn't just clean a surface, it restores a sense of control. The brain gets a clear signal I can do this. Motivation follows without force. After that, I kept choosing another small area, not because the house was unbearable, but because I grew attached to finishing. Cleaning stopped feeling like a burden and became a series of short, clear actions with definite endings. If you feel stuck, don't ask. When will the whole house be done? Ask. What can I finish today? One clear finish point is enough to get everything moving again. Another important principle is removing first and organizing later, because systems fail when volume stays too high. Many people think the problem is not knowing how to organize. Buying more boxes, more shelves, more dividers feels like the solution. I went down that road too. Storage filled the house, yet the tight, heavy feeling stayed exactly the same. The reason is simple. Organizing changes appearance, not volume. When the amount stays excessive, even the most beautiful system collapses quickly. I remember the first time I tried to organize properly. Everything lined up neatly, categories made sense. A few weeks later, chaos returned. Not because I failed, but because too many unnecessary things stayed. The shift happened when removal came first. No thinking about where items should go, no worrying about which box matched. Attention stayed on one thing only, which items no longer deserved to stay. Once the volume dropped, organizing almost solved itself. What remained found places easily. Space finally breathed. Most importantly, the system stopped demanding constant effort to maintain. Organizing before removing feels like squeezing too many people into a small room. Even with perfect lines, the air still feels heavy. Less stuff always works better than a perfect system under pressure. Nothing new needs buying to start. Courage to let go does the job. If your home feels messy despite all the boxes, don't blame a lack of skill. The issue was never technique, too much stayed behind. Remove first, What remains will find its place. Here's the truth: most people miss lack of time isn't the issue. Lack of repetition is. Many days passed without cleaning simply because today doesn't feel long enough. In my head, decluttering demanded long, uninterrupted hours and visible results. Without that perfect window, nothing moved. Real life rarely offers ideal free time. Work cuts in. Personal matters take over. Exhaustion shows up first. Cleaning keeps getting pushed back again and again. Everything shifted the moment waiting stopped. I set a timer for 15 minutes. No more than that. No promise to finish anything. Just act within that window, then stop. Those 15 minutes surprised me. A desk cleared. A kitchen corner opened up. One bag made it out of the house. The amount didn't matter. What mattered was repeating it the next day. When actions stay small, the brain doesn't fight back. No mental preparation, no motivation hunt. Just start and let the motion carry itself. Over time, the house changed quietly, not through big cleanups or dramatic weekends, but through short, repeated touches. No exhaustion, no pressure, no quitting halfway. Waiting for free time turned out to be the real trap. Busy days never disappear. Energy never feels perfect. Starting small removed the need for both. Doing it while busy worked better than waiting to feel ready. Doing it small enough made refusal impossible. Repeating it tomorrow made it stick. Time never needed to be large. Repetition did all the heavy lifting. And that's where real change came from. Finally, you'll see how decluttering trains something much bigger than your home. The ability to own your life through clear decisions. At first, I thought I was only dealing with my home. Slowly, something else surfaced: practice in making decisions quickly and standing by them. Each item that left marked it clear enough. No long explanations, no need for permission, no holding on out of habit or for someone else's expectations. That feeling felt familiar because it mirrored real life: overloaded schedules, draining relationships, commitments that no longer fit. Hesitation used to come first. Endurance followed. Self-blame arrived at the end. Clarity with objects began spreading elsewhere. Time choices became sharper. Important tasks moved forward. Unnecessary obligations lost their grip. The need to explain every decision quietly faded. A tidy home never came from owning fewer things alone. It came from carrying fewer unresolved decisions. Once those lingering decisions disappeared, the mental weight lifted in a way I could feel immediately. Decluttering stopped being housework. It turned into daily training. Training to choose myself. Training to set boundaries. Training to stay grounded in the present instead of clinging to the past or worrying about an imagined future. Acting like the owner of my space changed more than the room. Other parts of life adjusted without force. No dramatic transformations, no loud announcements, just one slightly clearer choice each day. That turned out to be enough. I don't clean my home the old way anymore. I don't try to make everything perfectly tidy. I don't force myself to be flawless, and I don't keep things just out of habit or guilt. I declutter to clear my head, to breathe more easily, and to make coming home feel lighter instead of more exhausting. If you want to start, don't think about the whole house. Choose something very small today. One drawer, one corner of a desk, one item you've been hesitating over for far too long. Finish that, then stop. Tomorrow, do a little more. That's enough. In the next video, I'll share some harsh truths about tidying your home, things no one really talks about. Make sure to watch, you won't want to miss it. If these thoughts helped you feel even a little lighter, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can keep going together. See you in the next video.